Hi there, it's Meepus. We've got some RuneScape content coming your way. Very exciting stuff, I know. Currently just hanging out in the farming guild. I just logged in. Let's see what the deal is. I've got a white berry seed in my inventory. So I take it that, yes, it's true. I have a... Did I do that right? I misentered my pen. Whoops. I have a farming contract to plant a white berry bush. I already have a white berry bush grown, but that is fine. I will just plant a new one, and I will get some seeds as a reward for planting a new bush. I like white berries. They are necessary, as you can see, for super defense potions at level 66 herb lore. And that's pretty decent. It's very easy to obtain a lot of white berries. And Cadentine is a medium level herb, so it's a good matchup. I don't have very many herbs of like any kind right now, as far as I know. What's my herb lore level sitting at? Currently at 80. Less than 100k to 81, so that's quite nice. At 81 herb lore, I will be able to make Ceradomin brews. I already can boost and do it quite easily, but it'll be marginally more convenient to be able to just make them whenever and wherever I want without having to drink any beer first. Because there is an item called the Greenman's Ale that gives me a +1 herb lore boost. And currently, in order to make Ceradomin brews, I need to have a barley, so that I will boost to 81, and then be able to mix the ingredients together, which, in my current state, my character is just not able to do. It just isn't possible. He doesn't understand the plants well enough. I get it. It's all very sensitive stuff. I don't really want to clear the tomatoes, but let me harvest some of them because I just love to do it. They're so adorable. And I'm going to want to plant a new herb as well, and then I think I'll go and do a run by Draenor Manor. I'll plant my belladonna, and I'll tend to the patches outside Falador. Seems like a good direction to take things here. I don't want the tomatoes to be fully harvested, so I will just pause right there. What do we have over here? I bet it's Quarm. Oh yeah, and I have to harvest my Celastris tree as well. Yes, it is Quarm, and we're using these with limpwort roots, I think, or are we doing weapon poison? No, we have dragon scale dust, but we're going to use the dragon scale dust with Lantodime and not with Quarm, because with Lantodime, it's worth less XP right now, but we can remake it later into a second potion and claim more XP. So it'll be better in the long run for us to do that. I mean, you know, if we're going to do that, then let me start on the Lantodime seeds. We don't have that many. And what's in here? We've got 300 dragon scale dust. Yeah, and 0 Lantodime. Or anti-fire Lantodime. Right, but does it need to be... I can't quite remember. However, it doesn't really matter right now. So let's see, I'm going to want this. I have everything in my inventory that I'll need. But I will want another Lantodime seed. Oops. Let me do it in the proper inventory slots here, or I'll annoy myself. Let's take the sweet corn seeds. Let's take a belladonna. And let's take a marigold seed. And I'll take my scarecrow away because I'm out of corn. And my scarecrow is there to protect my corn crops from dying. But I don't need it there if I'm not growing corn. And if I have marigolds there instead, I can grow tomatoes. I don't really need to grow tomatoes, but I'd like to get my tomato stack up to 10k, so. That will do it. We harvest the Celastris. Let me go replant this as well. I take it I have a number of these. Yeah, I've got 7. Need 8 potato cactus, I believe, to protect it. I don't know how to do it. Celastris. I think we're supposed to compost it too. I believe composting Celastris trees gives increased yields. That'll do nicely. We pay the protection. Let me grab my knife real quick. And where is it? There you are. Fletch these. 80 fletching experience a pop. That's not too bad. Except for the fact that we absolutely never grow these things ever. It's really just for the contract. Maybe I could afford to grow a few more of them than I normally would. Alright, everything done here, except I have to go plant the Lantidime, and then we will go to Drainer Manor, and then I'll come back here and decide what to do at that point. Now, I'm running pretty low on Ultra Compost. So at some point soon I'm going to have to go get some volcanic dust from Fossil Island. But not quite yet. Anyway, let's go to the Falador farming patch. And here we are at the Falador farming patch. Have my compost. I'll take the scarecrow, plant a marigold in its place. Let me go pick these herbs after boosting my farming level by 1 using the farming cape. And we listen to the gentle pluck, pluck, pluck sounds of my character removing these leaves from the ground and cleaning them. I'll plant more Lantidimes so that we can continue to grind out our herb lore level nice and slow. Nice and extremely excruciatingly slow. I'll put some normal compost on this. Probably not really going to matter, but why not, you know. And now we will harvest all of our corn. And as we come to the end of this miniature farm run, I suppose I ought to decide what to do with this little play session. Giant's Foundry is certainly an option. I just hit 90 smithing. I don't really need more smithing XP, but I certainly like Giant's Foundry and could do that. I could get some volcanic ash. I could do a fight cave attempt, but I'm not really sure I want to do that on this particular recording. Maybe yeah, I'll do that another time. Oh shoot. I just realized what I've been doing. The corn was protected and is no longer protected. I wasn't supposed to plant the marigolds just yet. I should have waited one more rotation. But that's alright, it really doesn't matter. I expect all of these to survive. Okay, and what is this business with the trees? Why are they doing this? This is really weird. It's freaking me out. The trees are all swaying. This is new. They never used to do this, and I don't know why they are. I'm not going to do it now, but I am going to figure out why they're doing that and see if there's an option to make them stop. Let me see if it's here actually, like in 117. general lighting environment. Anything mentioning a tree? No? That's weird. It's a new thing, though. I noticed this the other day. I thought it was only trees grown through farming, but it's all of these trees, and also the grass on the ground. The extra bits of grass are doing it too. I'm not sure I hate it, but it is weird. It's unusual at the very least. Anyway, here we are at Draenor Manor, the most hauntedest place in the entire land of Gielinor. Do I have a... yeah, I do have a bank space for the Scarecrow. I could do... nah, I don't feel like doing prayer training right now. I'm not quite set up enough for it. I could also just make some potions, do some herb lore. Hard to say. I could also do barrows. Maybe it's time to go back into barrows. See, the thing is, I don't know. There are two main things that I was working on. Actually, here, that's a good idea. Why don't I take this and all of my raw corn and teleport to the Birthorpe Games room, and we'll do some cooking and chatting just for a little while. While I figure out what I want to do. So, I've reached a crossroads, you might say. I have had the general goal for a while now of doing the fight caves, getting a fire cape. And I would really like to do that, but of course the question, who the hell is Penda? I don't recognize this NPC. I hear the Imperial Guard are preparing an attack, he says. What the heck? Well, that's weird. And I can kill the guy if I want. Oh my goodness. You can buy these things in bulk now. Oh my god, so many amazing changes. Wow, that's huge. But they made brewing completely useless if I can just buy 12 Wizard's Mind Bombs right there. Well, I'm not complaining. It's just a little weird. But the difficulty I'm dealing with now is that I want to do the fight caves, but I don't know exactly how. And in particular, I could basically prioritize getting Carol's crossbow and running lots more barrows, or I could just use the rune crossbow and suck it up. I was for a while not interested at all in using the rune crossbow because I've done it a few times and the damage has just really not been good, but I've gained a few ranged levels by AFKing since then. And additionally, yesterday I spent a lot of time procuring uncut diamonds and making them into diamond bolts. I have now a bunch of... where are they here? I now have 848... oh my god, that's my lucky number. Wow, I didn't even notice. Well, shit, I think that means we have to do the fight cave. Okay, I'll do that in a little bit before... after I finish talking. But the original plan was to just do barrows until I got Carol's crossbow, because I already have every other piece of it, and I have, let's see how much, 13,000 ammunition for the crossbow, compared to 848 for the rune crossbow. However, the ammunition is worth nothing, of course, if I don't actually have the weapon that uses it. And while the rune crossbow and the arrows or the bolts that I do have are not as high quality, I do have them, and I can get more anytime I want. Whereas if I want to wait for Carol's to do it, I cannot do it at any time I want, and it requires more and more grinding until I can eventually start doing the thing that I actually feel like doing. So I do love barrows, and I want to continue. I'm going to continue. I'm going to finish the barrows log at some point. I mean, I'm only one away. I've done 1,000 barrows. Like, it's got to be on the way soon, you know, but I think I'm at, I don't know, 3 times the drop rate for it. I have 5 of a couple of things. What do we got here? I have 5 Guthan's plate bodies, 5 Darroch's helms, 5 Torag's helms. I have 4 of a lot of stuff. Only 1 Aram's hood, only 1 Varric's brassard, only 1 flail. I think I deleted the flail as well, didn't I? Oh no, I have the flail. Maybe I'm thinking of the hammers? I don't remember. But I've got those. I just don't have the crossbow. Oh, and I didn't realize I've done a couple since I got 1,000. I thought I had exactly 1,000, but I have 1,003. Most of these are not that useful. I mean, they're all okay, but Guthan's is especially good. Or I shouldn't say. Guthan's is situationally good. Darroch's is situationally applicable. Aram's is fucking banging. And even more so than Aram's being banging, Carol's is banging. Well, I guess arguably for me, Aram's is more banging because my ranged level is 90 compared to my 70, or my magic level is 90 compared to my ranged level of 77, which is doo-doo. What do we got? I'm sitting at 4.1 million. Oh, no, that's wrong. That's RuneCraft. I'm sitting at 5.6 million magic XP and 1.5 million ranged XP. So if only magic were viable for the fight caves. I mean, you can technically do it. It's just not as good. I do have a lot of runes. I don't know. Nobody ever does that, so I don't know any of the calculations. I'm not sure if it would be better at my level to do magic. I don't think it would be. I'm not sure it ever is, but I really don't know the calculations for these things. We got 1,000 corn until 90 cooking. I would love to get to 90 cooking. And we're pretty close. We'll need, I don't know, 400 corn in addition to what we have here, but we've got plenty of other stuff to cook as well, especially a lot of fish. So that's another thing I could do. I could do temper raws. It's also... Yeah, I actually, if I'm thinking about it, it would probably not be smart to do the fight cave like this because, well, the Streamlabs, which I'm recording with, just takes up a lot of my computer's power, and I would hate to have a situation where the game freezes in a critical moment during the fight cave just because I'm recording. You know, whether it's too much for the CPU to handle or... You know, just if the internet connection gets bungled somehow, you know, that would be stinky. And technically these diamond bolts E are limited. It took me a while to get those. I spent, how many, what? So I think I got 500 in Probably 5 hours. It's really a total estimate by me. But that seems about right. Like I got about 100 per hour. And I don't know. That 100 per hour also seems like roughly the amount that I would use while doing the fight cave, but I'm not too sure. So, did I finish the Spirit Angler outfit? Yes, I did. Amazing. So it could be Temperos time. How many... Yeah, let me see. Just Google raw. And these are our other cooking materials. Okay, yeah, so if I wanted, I could also just, like, vibe here and cook until the end of time. Although I don't really want to do that. Not that it would be the worst thing. I'm just feeling a little jumbled right now. I have lots of energy. I'm 97 fire making? I forgot about that. What an awkward, forgettable skill. I'm close to a lot of neat levels. I could also work on fletching a little, I guess. I could make some, well, for one thing, I can just string some bows right here. I mean, there's actually no reason not to do this. How much does this give? 68 a pop? 67 and a half? Alright, this gives me a little bit of XP. I'll just save that for later. I'm also going to need to clean out my bank. It's currently completely full. I actually cannot put anything else into my bank. Got a clear little space. Why do I have an adamant axe? I probably need that for something, like a clue scroll or whatever. My bank is such a mess. Prayer training is sort of on the way. Got some of that. Cooking. Do I have any arrowheads? No, I do not. I didn't think so. 80 barrows tellies left. Yeah, I just have all this energy that I'd like to direct somewhere. And particularly, I want to have something to talk about. It's very easy to, like, play this game, do practically anything. Oh, I got so excited. The mysterious old man was for me, but he's not. He's for somebody invisible here. But I suppose the purpose of this is indeed to talk, so no matter what I'm doing, we're talking, and that's good. I have a lot of... awkward. Everything's just awkward is the word that is being thrown around. I have so much organization to do. Oh, I got 2 cats there, okay. One thing I can do is... I could just go and run around and do chores one thing at a time, be indecisive, or I could just go and pick something. Let's do a little bit of Giant's Foundry. So I'll wear my smith's outfit, my frog mask. Let's take my farming cape, my amulet of defense. I want my boots. And how are we looking? We're looking good. Oops. Oh, of course. I already have the boots because they're in the smith's uniform. And now we just need a ring of dueling. And we go to the Emir's Arena. Yay, we are in the desert. Now, let's go pick the spines off of this cactus. We've got to harvest it. This is rather bright, isn't it? I'm going to turn the brightness on my PC down a little bit. We're under the hot Arabian sun here, or should I say Caridian sun. Well, I guess not even technically. It is the Caridian sun. This is the desert of Al-Kharid. I've got my buddy Ali Morrisane over there, the gem trader. And now we are going... Am I going the right way? I don't usually go this way. Yeah, okay, cool. We're going to head up here. Just click on Enter Cave and my character will take us there. This whole area has been remodeled a significant amount over the past few years. Man, I always forget what the hell this guy is doing here. Who the hell are you? Next to this big ass hole. What do you want? Why are you out here on your own? I was drawn here. I used to be a traveling doctor until I arrived in Al-Kharid. Then I heard it call to me. I immediately gave up my profession and set up here. Well, there's still some blood and an arm and a foot on the table. I'm happy here. The voices tell me I'm happy. I continue my work. The whole speaks to me and I listen. It says I will do great things, only if I listen. Okay. Perhaps this man, he's holding a saw. Oh my god. Perhaps that is going to be a quest later on, something like that. Anyway, let's enter the foundry. And have I made one yet? He gave me a commission. Why is this thing over here? Can you get in your correct spot? The point. Okay, set the mold. We are ready to go with that one. Now, what shall I use? Let's do the standard mithril and steel alloy. Oops. Let's put everything away. And actually this, yeah, no, let's just do mithril and steel. Mithril and steel. We'll do this in the proper way. In my life, da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. Yeah, something like that. I mean, usually this is so funny. I usually play split screen. Like I usually play with this being half the screen, and that makes all of the UI scale down. So I'm being overwhelmed by this enormous bar at the top of the screen here, but it's all right. I also like the way that the character like leans forward like this, twitching his foot. It looks so funny. The animations in this game are so goofy and endearing. I just love this sort of old style of stuff. The word half-baked came to my mind. It's certainly not half-baked at all. That's not a good descriptor, but and it's certainly not unfinished or anything, especially since it's intentionally this way, you know, like none of this is unfinished at all. It just is what folks today and in the video game world might consider more clunky. But I just find it so endearing. It's also easier for the computer to run than like a 120 FPS, high intensity, shader-filled shooting game. Those things, I'm sure they must just drain the life out of people's PCs. This thing I've had for about 8 years now. It's really, it's not on its last legs, but it has seen battle. I'll put it that way. It has seen a lot of things. It has seen a farming cape. It has seen, I don't know, 50 frog randoms. It has seen 90 smithing. It has seen 2 skills maxed. Let's see, 99 fire making and 99 cooking. 3 and 99 farming, of course, as I literally just said, I'm wearing the farming cape. I expect that the next 99 I will get on this account is, whatchamacallit, fire making. However, there is like literally no reason for me to do more fire making apart from maxing the skill. The last useful thing that you unlock, you get at 95. And the rest is just, I mean, the cape and like teensy tiny bonuses that aren't particularly, well, that just don't really matter. But once I get a second skill maxed, my skill cape will become trimmed, as they say, quote unquote trimmed, and that'll just make it a little more physically attractive. It'll give it a little, these sort of green things on the side will become yellow. It'll just change up the colors a bit. It's a little odd that my character appears to be leaning to the right by, I don't know, 5 degrees. I guess it's because he's holding this giant sword? Why are you doing that, meepus? They do have that weird thing that they do with farming that I originally noticed on mobile, and then eventually it made its way to the... I don't know if it then made its way over to the regular game, or if it was always there and I suddenly noticed, or if they appeared at the same time and I didn't notice one. But for a lot of farming activities, harvesting during farming specifically, especially with bushes, herbs, and cacti, the player character, like the character model, sort of like has its left ear close to the shoulder, and it's like snapping its head to the left. I don't know what has caused this to happen, but it happens all the time, and I'm seeing a teensy little... No, 3. So I thought I pressed that. That's weird. Just seeing a little bit of crossover there, I suppose. We've made Kovac a heavy spiked, whatever that means. I guess I should explain what the hell we're doing here, shouldn't I? Well, this is the Giant's Foundry. It is a foundry. It's like a big smithy. And it is owned by a giant, this guy over here called Kovac. I don't really know the background behind why they added this, apart from just wanting to have another smithing activity. I'm a big fan of it. But, I don't know. It just kind of appeared one day, as far as I know. You complete a little quest that gives you access to this whole area. It involves meeting Kovac, and not killing him like you do with most of the other giants in the area, such as the ones, or across the whole game world, such as the ones who were chilling right outside. But he can actually speak in broken English, which mostly giants can't because they're, I don't know, too stupid or something. It's really simplistic like that. I wonder if this guy serves the same god that Bandos, that the rest of the giants typically serve. I'm not sure. Anyway, you come across him here, you help him clean up the workshop, and then he gives you, free rein to use his machinery if you would like. And what he will ask is he will give you a quote-unquote commission, where he'll say, can you please make me a sword of this kind? And you put that together in this little doohickey here. And you solidify the mold, which is the shape of the sword. And then you go to your bank and you decide what materials to make the sword out of. I use steel and mithril. You can use 28 of the same one, but it's not very efficient to do that. You want to do alloys whenever possible, and it's always possible. Ideally, I would be, well, at this point, actually, at 90 smithing, it would be statistically optimal for me to do an alloy of the top 2 highest tier metals, which are rune and adamant. However, I mean, Rune is just out of the question. Like, if you're using Rune at Giant's Foundry, you're buying it from the Grand Exchange. I mean, it's just not sustainable. I guess it's sustainable, but it would just take so much time to get specifically the Runite that you wouldn't want to use it. Like, if you had that much, you would be doing something else and not this, you know? And I do have a little bit of adamant. I get it passively doing some activities, but those activities I have not done in a while, and the only adamant that I have right now is left over from the diamond bolts that I made that I was talking about doing yesterday. So here's the thing. He says, make me a heavy spiked sword. So I'll go over to the mold jig. Here's the like handle, whatever. So we get the fort of the blade of the blade, and the tip of the blade. And each of these has a sort of score according to, you know, we got broad, heavy, spiked, narrow, light, spiked, broad, heavy, spiked, narrow, heavy, flat. And we just want to, fortunately I have a plugin that does it all for me, but you just want to add up to the highest number that you can get, which functions as the total like score of the sword that you're about to make based on the parameters that he's given to you. And then you go into the crucible here and you give over your alloys. So I was saying here that ideally I would be using adamantite bar, green, and these light blue runite bars, but I do not have very many at all, so we are using very, very low level stuff, which is mithril and steel. It's really crappy, it's pretty slow XP, but it's what I've got. And even though the XP is slower, the mini game itself is the same. So I don't mind it being slow that much. Efficiency is a fun thing to strive for, but it can be crippling if you focus too much on it. I've learned that in RuneScape as well as real life, that you want to be efficient, but reasonably efficient. Because frankly, being statistically efficient, being clinically efficient, for one thing, tends to take a lot of the joy out of the game in my experience, in my opinion. And for another thing, is just so extremely hard. It's just straight up so difficult to do things in the optimally efficient manner. In a game like RuneScape, where all of these skills and activities are interconnected, and there are multiple ways to do almost everything. It's very choose your own adventure. It's very do things in whatever order you want to do whatever things you want to do. You certainly don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything in the same order. Some activities that other players do a lot, you will never touch, and vice versa. Highly personal game. And that means that efficiency is sort of a good thing to chase, but not necessarily a good thing to catch. You know, I don't really like the way that I've said that and the way that that comes across, but the main idea is don't be paralyzed in pursuit of efficiency. Don't be so efficiency-minded that you actually cripple your ability to play and to complete basic tasks. Like, if I were focusing purely and truly on efficiency, I wouldn't be doing this right now. But that would just take all the fun out of it on the most basic level, because it's what I want to do right now. So I'm perfectly okay with doing something that is quote-unquote inefficient. We should have a coin jar or like a drinking game where every time I say that. Every time I say what, I got so distracted. So I mean, there are all kinds of things I say all the time. As it were is a good one. Or as they say. Oh, that's what it was. I was referring to quote unquote. Feeling very academic today. Quote unquote resources in this quote unquote game. All about quote unquote efficiency. Quack, 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 quack. And so forth, you know. It's also really pretty in here, which I like. As I think of it, I'm curious what it looks like without the shaders on and without the graphical update mod, but I don't feel like turning it off and making something weird happen inadvertently. So where are we at in our XP here? We've got 500,000 XP to 91 smithing. What do I get at 91 smithing? I have no idea. And frankly, I don't care. How many swords have we done? 382. Well, let's try to make it to 385. How are you? This one's 52. We had one earlier that was 59. The highest I've ever... I'm not sure what the highest possible is at this stage, but I think it's like 69 maybe. Nice. I remember seeing a few of those. It is also possible to be as low as in the high 40s. And normally you want to use your... Haha, Rick Turpentine's here. Usually you want to use your crappier ores for the lower quality swords and your higher quality ores for the higher quality swords. But I'm just doing the same for everything because I can't be bothered. I really do love this smithing outfit. Oh, and you know, I wonder... I should also check after this. Once you complete swords, you get a sort of currency that he gives you. I think you get points proportional to... I can't remember what it is. There's so many... Like, maybe it's 117 to the... I have no idea. You get points that are proportional to something, and then you can spend them on him. Frankly, nothing is that good, but he does sell ore packs that have a chance to contain rune ore. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a 1% chance for it to be there. So... But there's pretty much nothing else to buy from him that actually is worth it. So I'm just going to keep doing it my way. Anyway, here at the foundry, we've got a few different machines. What are the various parts of this? Firstly, there is this lava pool. The whole minigame exists in the context of keeping the sword, or the preform, as they call it, in the correct temperature range while using it on the correct piece of machinery. And that's indicated here. This is the trip hammer, and on the top bar you can see here there's a lot of info. The top blue gradiented line is just the quality of the sword overall, the quality of the preform, which is an amalgam of the mold score when you arrange that at the beginning, and the types and quality of metal that you used. And so then what you do with that comes next. So first, yes, I am doing this right. The first thing you do is go to the trip hammer, which is the red, and that also indicates that the preform has to be red hot while you use it. So we've got these three pieces of machinery here, and they either have to be, the preform either has to be hot, cold, or in the middle while you use it. And in order to increase the temperature, you dunk it in the lava, And in order to decrease it in temperature, you dunk it in the water. It's very straightforward. So the middle line here in the top is the temperature range of the preform. The green area here on the left is cold. The yellow is medium, and the red is hot. And in between the ranges, there is a little no man's land that just introduces some micromanagement to everything. And the bottom bar here is what you might call the progress bar or the stage bar. It's actually about to go away since I'm going to complete this sword, so I'll get back to that in a second. Oh no, it isn't going to go away, it just grays out. Sword look good. Hand over. We completed it in 4.5 minutes at quality 117. Our best is quality 199. We got 11k smithing XP and 20k coins. That's our 383rd sword here. So I'll ask him to make another one. I think 59 was the quality of the last one. This one's 61, which is nice. I like when it's in the 60s. Same with the temperature as well. With the weather outside when it is not frightful. My goodness, I just realized my dude, is perilously close to the edge of this lava pool here. Careful, dog. Somehow I'd never noticed this before, but it makes me very nervous. I mean, he would be fine. It's not even possible to fall off, but I just feel for him. Anyway, we've just gotten the sword, which is red hot, so we take it while it's in the red zone over to the red trip hammer. So the bottom line here, the bottom line is that the bottom line tells us what to do. The bottom line here, this first chunk is red, which means we have to do the trip hammer, and it has to be in the red temperature range while we do the red, machine activity. This consumes heat, and we do not quite have enough, so we'll have to heat it up for one more smack of the hammer. And then once this stage is completed, we go and we cool it down into the green, which is the next indicated stage. That's the polishing wheel over here. So we cool it down, going through the yellow, crossing the no man's land, and we'll get it into the top of the green area here. Now you can see that actions left 18. I need 17, 16, 15, more ticks working at this thing while the temperature is in range in order to move to the next stage. But I do not have enough heat left, so I'm going to have to run back over here and dunk it in the lava to get it back up to the appropriate heat. And once we're done with the polishing wheel, I can see that I'm going to need it back up in the red again to use the trip hammer. 2, 1, 0. So let's now dunk it in the fire. Take it all the way back up pretty much to its hottest point. We'll use the trip hammer again. And additionally, the order of these things is slightly different each time. I'm not sure if it's fully randomized or whatever, but it is different each time. However, the temperature range that you need to use for each of the pieces of machinery does stay the same. So for the trip hammer, you'll always want your preform in the red. For the polishing wheel, you'll always want it in the green. And for the grindstone, you'll always want it in the yellow, which is in the middle. So we're now moving on to stage 4 out of 5 here. We have the polishing wheel. I might get lucky here. The polishing wheel is a little bit awkward because with this kind of ore combination, metal alloy, I can't get enough heat into the preform to do the entire thing at once without running back across the room to dunk it in the lava and then go back again and use a different machine. Oh, whoops, I also mad overheated it because I was talking and not paying attention. But that is fine. There is no rush at all. There is no time associated with this activity at all, which is very nice. So finally here we are ready to use the grindstone. We'll get it into the proper temperature range, although once again I heated it too much, so I will have to visit the waterfall in a moment to cool it off. But you can see how it works. It's pretty I would say straightforward. It's not really straightforward. You know, if you walked in here and didn't know what to do and you just like had this menu here in front of you, you would definitely get lost. Some of this information is brought in by an external plugin, but really not a whole lot. It is just this complicated regularly. What do we got here? 61 again. Very nice. I'm very happy about that. And how much smithing XP have we gotten while we've been here? It's hard to tell because I got some yesterday. In the last 2 days, I've gotten 250,000. And I'm curious what my current... Oh, I didn't take any mithril. What my current XP per hour is, although it's a little bit hard to judge because you get it in a big chunk of XP every like 5 minutes or so when you hand in the sword, rather than in steady intervals as you know, craft a particular item a number of times. But primarily you get XP here from handing in the sword, and he just gives you a whole bunch. But as you see here, I do get a teensy tiny little penny drop of XP each time one of these things gets used. So I'm getting 4 XP per, I don't know, 3 seconds here on this thing. Yeah, I think it's 2.5 or 3 seconds to get 4.5 XP there. And you do need 13 million XP to get to the maximum level, so I forget if I've worked out how many swords I'm going to have to make. And I don't know what else I'm going to get smithing XP from. I don't know if I'm going to do this all the way to 99 smithing. I certainly wouldn't mind it. Again, I do like it here. But I've just never done the math for exactly what I'm going to have to do there. Each one of these swords at this level is 5 stages, and they can be pretty much anything, although the first one will always be the trip hammer, the red. But last sword, the grindstone, was the last thing that we did, and we only used it once. But this sword, I'm going to need to use the grindstone twice, and it will not be the last thing. So it's overall not, I mean, it's not AFK-able at all, even though in RuneScape people's definitions of exactly what AFK means are not only greatly varied, but also greatly stretched. AFK is taken very, very non-literally in the RuneScape sphere. More AFK versus less AFK is a really just means how much or little attention do you have to pay. Very few activities, though they do exist in RuneScape, can be done actually away from keyboard, actually with you out of the room. This is certainly not one of them, as you can tell. Not only do I have to... I mean, there are some activities that you can do, like that you can walk away from the computer from, and they won't go well. And I guess you might call that this. This is one that you really just can't walk away from the computer at all. But I also don't really have to turn my brain on for this. You know, I largely can just go with the plugin telling me what to click when. But I have made close to 400 swords in here, although I'm not sure how much time that works out to be. But I've spent a fair bit of time in here, and I'm very used to it. So occasionally I make small mistakes, but it's very easy, and it's pretty rewarding. Oh my goodness, the sandwich lady has paid us a visit. You look hungry to me. I tell you what, have a square sandwich on me. God damn it. I did not want a square sandwich. I wanted a baguette. I appreciate it though. Thank you. The sandwich lady is interesting because, well, here, 1 second. How much do we get from this? 12K. Very good. I would like another commission, please. This will be our 385th. Maybe I'll just go to 390. I'm sure I'll just keep going. I'll probably stop. I'll stop after. I'll take a break and I'll stop the recording after this one. But I think I'll keep playing or pause and come back later because this seems like a pretty good thing to talk during. The more I play and the more I think about it. Although I did get myself away from my train of thought there. It's humorous, actually, in a way, because anyone watching can go back by pressing the arrow key 3 or 4 times and find out exactly what I was going to say from the man himself, me. But I have no way to do that. I cannot press the... Well, I can press the left arrow key a few times, but it only turns the camera. How sad. Anyway, I don't remember what I was going to say. But, well, something about doing a lot of the Giants Foundry. Right, I was going to say that it's also... Actually, now that I think of it, I'm not sure I'm really qualified to speak on that. I was going to say that this is a particularly good activity for Iron Men specifically, but I actually don't know that. I have to admit, I don't really know who this activity was designed for. Whether it's more for Iron Men or for regular accounts. I think there's utility in both. If I had to guess, it would be that the activity is designed for everyone, but the more disposable income that you have to spend, the faster it is. Because no matter what he gives me to make, no matter what he... Oh, I thought Count Check was for us. Whatever he gives me to make, I have to make it. But what I can control is the quality of ore, of metal that I use. And as an Iron Man player, I only have access to things that I can procure myself, basically whatever I can dig up out of the ground and throw in a furnace, whereas a regular player can buy whatever they want. So anybody with a smithing level, even 10 or 15 levels below mine, can use the highest level, the highest tier metal alloys and get significantly more XP per hour than I am. But I'm doing it the old boomer way, the bootstraps way. I often ask myself why I like Iron Manning so much. My instinctive answer is that it's rewarding to get to do everything myself. And then my instinctive response to that is like, you jerk, why do you care so much about doing everything yourself? Don't you want to accept the help of other people? So, you know, that's an ongoing debate within me in regards to the practice of Iron Manning, to this play style, but I don't know. I just like it. Perhaps I don't know who's to say whether there's something wrong with liking something just because it's only you who's doing it. But there are also a number of ways that you could look at that. You know, is it a matter of I'm the only one doing this in the sense that I'm shutting everybody else out? Or is it I'm the only one doing this in the case that I'm not necessarily not taking handouts, although that isn't even possible as an Iron Man. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know the proper way to conceptualize it, and that's something I think a lot about. As we hand in our 385th sword here. Actually, that's 386. Never mind, I lost track. You want a broad, light sword? I can do that for you. Set mold. Yeah, the thing I was going to say about the sandwich lady was that she has the same assortment of items in her little sandwich box every time that she randomly comes to see you. And she has, as far as I know, an equal chance of asking about each. And what she does is she says, "Oh, hey there, you look hungry. Why don't you take X on me?" And then it shows you the thing, and you have to click on X, and she gives it to you to eat. And if you click on something else, she's like, "I didn't tell you to take that. You get nothing." And it's humorous. This time around, I got a square sandwich, which was delicious. I ate it immediately and in one bite. However, one of the items that she has is a baguette. And what's even better than that is that there is I think 1 in 256, maybe 1 in 128 chance that when she asks you, or when she tells you to take the baguette, that you will not receive a regular baguette, but will instead receive the stale baguette, which is not a food item. It is not consumable like the regular baguette is, but instead it can be held in the weapon slot. So that's just one of many fun little quirks about it. Every time I see the sandwich lady, it gets my blood pumping. I think, oh, is this the time? Is this the time that she's going to give me the stale baguette? And a couple of times she has invited me to take the baguette, but it has never been stale. And I think if you take the wrong thing, you just get nothing and she leaves. It's possible she gives you another chance, but I'm not sure. I kind of doubt it, to be honest. Other random events give you outfit pieces or sometimes emotes. And for just about all of them, once you've gotten all of the unique items, for instance, there's one that allows you to go and do a mime show. And you can get up to 4 pieces, maybe it's 6 pieces of the mime outfit. And you can get a couple of mime emotes like the glass box emote and the climbing up a rope emote and stuff. And once you've gotten all of those on your account, you can start receiving XP lamps, which are just a little fun bonus that give you a lump of XP in the skill of your choosing. I've been choosing prayer because it is so hard. Prayer is a pretty easy skill. I won't say pretty easy skill, but a regular skill for most players to train. Prayer centers on burying bones, and do I have to cool it or I have to heat it? On burying bones to give XP. You can also offer them at an altar to a god, and there are other chaotic ways that you can gain more prayer XP by increasing risk. And additionally, there is a really good way to earn, I think it's like 400% XP for your stuff, which is to go to the house party world and go and visit another player's house who has a particular kind of altar in the chapel of their home. And using that, you can offer bones on it instead of burying them for a very, very large increase in the XP yield. However, as an Iron Man player who has to do everything for himself, I actually cannot enter other players' homes. So I can't do that at all. There are a couple of fringe methods that can give me increased XP, but nothing close to the volume and reliability of this house party world that other players have access to. So, and additionally, most players can just buy bones. They can, do some kind of money maker, and then, oh god, why is this so terrible? There we go, 58, okay. They can just buy bones. I cannot. If I want bones, I have to kill something that has them, or, pick them up off the ground if they happen to be somewhere. I also just realized I have some extra diamond bolt tips. Do I have any adamant bolts? No, I don't. Okay, well that is fine. Maybe I will make some, because it just annoys me to have a few sitting in there, even though it's not really a huge problem. Will this be... yeah, okay, so this actually will be our final one. Truly for real. How many have we made? 387. The score of this preform is 123. And how's our... oh yeah, I forgot to look at the XP per hour, but I will be able to see that in just a moment. It'll give us a rough idea. What does it say? It says that I'm getting about 40,000 XP per hour. That is not correct. It's always pretty unreliable, the count here, just because it's in such a weird way. More commonly, you would go to an anvil with an inventory full of metal bars and would one by one craft those bars into items, get an equal amount of XP for each of them that you receive at a regular interval, each time that you finish one. However, this sort of takes the whole inventory of bars and puts them into the sword, and you then make the sword, which, as you can see, is a highly irregular activity. Some swords are faster, some are slower, especially, each time that you make a sword, you use 28 bars, but they may not be the same quality of bar, and that can drastically influence the amount of XP that you're getting. And then, above all, as I said in the very beginning, you're not getting small chunks of XP at regular intervals. You're getting large XP drops like every few minutes. So it's just a little bit more difficult for the computer to calculate exactly what the value is that you're getting for your time. But that's just one of the fun things about RuneScape, is comparing these little things and deciding which is better. And that gets back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the video about efficiency. So it all ties back together. Speaking of efficiency, actually, I don't know how much time I've been here, but it's probably been close to 40 minutes, which means that the herbs I planted in the farming guild at the beginning of the video are going to be ready fairly soon. So right after we finish this sword, which I'm more than halfway through now, we're going to pay a quick visit back to the farming guild and see what's up with our crops. So let's see, we should be able to do this in one. And I have one bonus action left for swords that have 5 stages like this. During 2 of the stages, I can get a quote bonus action, a quote unquote bonus action, which we just saw there. It happened right as I was talking about it, that enabled me to complete the stage early. Basically, it's just while you're doing one of these things, a little exclamation mark will pop up, and when it pops up, you click the machine an additional time, and it'll give you like 3 or 4 clicks worth of progress immediately. I think I just messed this up. Yeah, it's too bad. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, pardon me, 5, 4, 3, 2. I need to heat the preform a little bit. Back up to 1 and 0. Hand in, we get 11,000 XP, 12,000. That's our 388th sword. Get another commission. And let me check out the shop. So, cool. We've got 5,418 reputation. And none of these are useful to me at all, except for the ore pack. A rather heavy-looking package containing 30 noted ores, which can be any combination of the following. So I've got 27 of these. I'm guessing I'll come out with 2 runite ores. Oh, I don't have enough inventory space. And I doubt I can drop it. I also should not drop it. And I also don't have enough room in my bank to put these away. I did not foresee this difficulty. How about we get rid of these raw anchovies? I do not need them right there. Let me put a few of these away. And where'd they go? I don't know where they... That was weird. Take them back out. Did we get... Cool, so we actually got not even one single runite from 27 of those. I did get 18 adamantite, which is pretty good. But those things are really just a meager offering to give back some of the value that you've... He also does give you a little bit of money back. But since I don't put coins into this, even in any indirect way, it's difficult for me to evaluate exactly what I'm getting in that sense. Oh, and I did not mean to take 14 shovels. I only want... Actually, I'll take 5 of them because I really have too many shovels in there as it is. Whoops. So let's go to the farming guild and just see what everything looks like. Cool. So my herbs are going to be done at 21:18. Okay, that's in 12 minutes. So yeah, they're just about done. This tree has grown. I will wait here for these to be done. And I guess that's all for now. Thank you for joining me for this this little, I guess, introductory episode of Meepus. I'm going to be putting out some more videos like this, just of me talking, doing some chill RuneScape stuff for the vibes, for anyone who might enjoy. I've gotten a couple of requests to make videos like these, so for those of you who are seeing this final message or hearing it, Godspeed.